Hello, how are you doing? Thanks for joining me again. Today I'm going to be doing just a very brief video to address something which has been just keeping me awake at night thinking about it, and that is something I've talked about before, the manipulation of photographs to remove subjects from the frame. Now, I've always been completely against adding things into a photograph. You shouldn't take something and put it in there to create something that wasn't there. It's more problematic when you start thinking about removing things, because obviously erasing somebody from a photograph because it doesn't match your memory is kind of dangerous. It's what they used to do, wasn't it? In the old days with politicians, you would see slowly the people around the leaders disappearing as they went out of favour, and they were never there. So I'm not very keen on removing things from pictures either. But one of the things that I've complained about is the fact that technology makes this possible. And actually, it was always possible to do this to an extent. And I want to demonstrate that today, because even with a film camera, you can take a busy square and make it look completely abandoned with the help of this little filter. Because what this will do is make the exposure so dark that I can use an exposure time of maybe over 30 seconds. And in that time, everybody who is in the picture will have moved around. And so you will get a busy street looking like an empty place. And I was reminded of this because I saw something online, somebody talking about how you could never get a picture of, it was some tourist attraction like the Eiffel Tower or the Taj Mahal or something, saying this picture is fake because you could never get it without all these tourists in it. And that's true, possibly. I've never been to the Taj Mahal, but you could actually take a picture without all the extraneous individuals and without having to airbrush them out individually or asking the AI to do it. The way it was done in the old days was simply a slow exposure. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to go out to a busy place and I'm going to take a picture with a normal exposure. I say normal, 1/60th, freeze time. And then I'm going to take a picture at a very slow exposure using the neutral density filter to make the exposure longer. And we will freeze time, not so much slow time down, and show that we can still produce beautiful pictures without identifying people or having clutter in them the organic way. I'm not actually going to do it on film because I can't afford to do that at the moment. I'm going to do it on digital where I can see what I'm doing and just try and get it right first time. But the principle is the same. You could do it with film just as well. Obviously, bearing in mind reciprocity failure and all that sort of stuff. Right, so 17-40 lens, 5D Mark II. Let's get out to Stockport. So here I am in the market square in Stockport, and it is a market day, so there are people going backwards and forwards. It's just after 9 o'clock in the morning. It's busy. There's people on bikes, there's people going to school, there's people going commuting. So if I take a picture, they're all on there, and it means I can't take a clear picture of this building. But watch as I make all these people disappear using this. So without the filter, if I take a test shot, there's going to be people on it. But when I add in the filter, nobody at all there. Okay, so let's imagine for a second that I really want to take a picture of this railway viaduct, but I've got traffic going past it all the time and other things going on, and I don't want that in. So what I can do, I can either airbrush the traffic out, or I use my slow exposure trick. And the thing is that with the slow exposure trick, a computer isn't having to guess what's behind where the traffic was and using some sort of generative fill to fill it in. You are actually seeing what's behind it because it's the real thing. It's just that the thing has moved in front of it to reveal it during the exposure. So I would say that is a much better way of doing things. Okay, so it's not the Taj Mahal, but that was a little bit too far to go. This is a landmark in Manchester. So we're going to take a picture of this. As you can see, there's lots going on. There's lots of hustle and bustle, people moving around. So don't want all that in the shot, do we? We want a nice clean shot. So let us set up the tripod and get ready to take one. So we're going to start the exposure now, and there are lots of people crossing, but hopefully they will disappear and all we'll be left with is the library itself. maybe just one figure. Okay, so here's my last test. Busiest shopping street in Manchester. Let's see if we can make it look deserted. And yes, we can pretty much. Certainly the figures to the foreground have disappeared. The huddle of people in the far distance is so huge that with this exposure it's just formed a meaningless mass, but you certainly can't make anybody out there. So we have basically removed all the people from that photograph in a very old tech kind of way. So there you go. It's nothing new being able to airbrush people out of photographs or make people look like they weren't in photographs. It's just a lot easier nowadays, and that is where the danger lies. And I really hope that people won't do too much of that, because as time goes on, it's the actual moment that you will want to keep, not your edited moment. The thing about photographs is they're not preserving memories. Memories are really unreliable. We know all about that from witness statements and psychological research. People's memories are all different and they are all flawed, even straight after something has happened. A photograph isn't preserving a memory, it's preserving an event. And that's why we shouldn't alter it, because that event needs to be able to be gone back to so that we can then recreate our own memories from the actual real source, not from something that was wrong to start with. My view. Please do argue with me in the comments about it, because I really do get a buzz from talking about these things, and sometimes people open my eyes and make me think about it again, which is what's happened here. I had a little think about what I'd heard and was like, actually, it's not the technology that I've got a problem with, it's the people's use of the technology. Right, that's it for this time. Please do like, subscribe, share if I haven't completely annoyed you. I will be back very soon. Until I do, take care of yourselves, enjoy what you're shooting. Bye for now.